Today we're going to discuss the new PJX projector, and that's we're going to line it up with other ones that we're currently working with, which is the Morimoto MLED right up front on the left. In the middle you got the Profile Bi-LED. It's actually made by the same company that makes the PJX, and at the end, like I said, recently released. Not sure if this is 100% the final production version or if things are going to be changed. The factory just sent it over for some testing and some samples, so it's exciting to see some new options. You know, all the manufacturers seem to be working on LED projector options, and you know, maybe it is the future, but in the retrofitting world we're still kind of sticking and recommending with HID projectors, although who knows, that could change. So right off the bat you can see size is almost the same. The only thing you're missing on the back of this one, which is detachable like it is on the MLED, is a threaded shaft attachment. Then it would probably be about the same size, but overall you can see they're all pretty compact. The iLens does not have a removable shaft, which is kind of a downside for that projector. At the same time, you know, most customers do prefer using the threaded shaft when they can, so it is something to consider. You know, as far as the drivers go, you can see that, you know, the PJX driver is pretty large compared to the you know, to the iLens or the Profile Bi-LED, and the Morimoto MLED driver is the largest. But they're all external drivers. They all have kind of cables that route out of the projector or the side of the projector to the, you know, outside the headlight to the driver. You know, the theory is if something goes wrong, hopefully it's the driver and you can replace the driver and, you know, get on your way and not have to tear apart the conversion. They all have fans on the bottom of the projectors to dissipate heat. Some cooling fins are integrated into the design. Some have larger ones, some have smaller ones. You know, overall, there's a lot of similarities between these projectors, and you know, the truth is, you know, you don't know how good it's going to be until you fire it up. And I think we're pretty impressed with the PJX. We're going to fire it up and we're going to do a comparison against the projectors so we can see how it stacks up. LED is instant on, so it's going to turn on right away. Right off the bat, we were pretty impressed with this output because you can see it's very uniform. The hotspot is large, but it's also wide. It's not very centralized. It's not too low. It's right where you need it. Can we see a high beam? You can hear the fan kicks on. You know, the high beams on all the LED projectors, I mean, personally, I'm not overly impressed with the high beam. It is a functional high beam. It's totally usable. Unlike HID, there's usually a lot of light reserved for LED, for HID high beams in a good quality projector, but in the LED, you simply, you know, are just able to see above the cutoff line. It doesn't actually kind of intensify things greatly as far as the lux and the figures are concerned there, but it is something to look into. Let's do a comparison with the Profile. Let's turn that on as well. We'll do it from back here. And then we'll check out some lux figures as well and see how it stacks up. You know, the iLens, when it first came out, this is the Profile Bi-LED / iLens, whatever you want to call it. You can see this hotspot is it's a little bit more centralized, and some people would even say it's a little low. Can you hold both projectors together so we could see them together? You can see how much of a nicer spread the PJX has, and it's much cooler. In the video right now it looks kind of blue, but actually the iLens is very, very warm in person, and the PJX is actually a perfect balance that gives you that new, you know, that modern LED look, which I think most users are looking for. So we're going to compare the lux figures right now. And the iLens was never known to be super bright, but it had good width compared to the MLED. So you can see this projector is hitting about 550, which is really impressive. 540, 550. You know, let's take a look at the Profile. The Profile definitely is not going to hit that high, and that's a pretty impressive figure. So we're seeing at about low 400s, about 420 for the Profile Bi-LED. So you got about 100 lux spread on that, you know, between those projectors, and that's quite the difference. And can we see high beam in this too? So this has a much different high beam. It actually seems like wider of a high beam instead of just centrally focused, but you know, it's not that much brighter anyway in terms of high beam output. We've done the testing on that. And can we see the MLED versus the new PJX as well? The MLED, on the other hand, it did have a very intense hotspot. Originally, it was super low. They did fix it. It is a little bit more, they took away a little bit of intensity, but they have added the uniformity, which is great. So now we're comparing the PJX up top and the Morimoto MLED. I've lowered the exposure a little bit so you can see great, so you can see a little bit better. But essentially, you can see the PJX is just a hint warmer than the MLED. I think a lot of people like the MLED, but it's also a little bit, it's a little bit cool for most people. At the same time, you got the perfect balance. So let's just see the MLED, the low beam hotspot and lux reading. So you're hitting about 450, 460, which is solid once again, but the PJX is hitting over 500. Now that's still a pretty small difference. At the same time, it is brighter, and we're not doing magic here. We're just doing a comparison. You can see with the lower exposure on my camera, you can see it's a very tightly knit hotspot, and it does not give you a lot of width, and that's what I think a lot of people are concerned with. Can we see width comparison between the PJX and the MLED? So these two projectors are brighter than the profile or the eye lens, and we got the PJX up top and the MLED on the bottom. I'm going to lower the exposure a little bit, and you can see it does have a slightly better width. So things are progressing in the right way. I'm not sure about the retail price of this unit, but I do know that it has a lot of great characteristics, and overall we're definitely thrilled with it. Let's just see a color temperature comparison just on the table with all three units. So on the left-hand side, we've got the profile or the eye lens. In the middle, we've got the PJX, and on the right, we've got the MLED. And you can see, big difference with the color temperature with the first one versus the last two. The last two are very similar. I think it's easier to see the difference on the wall. You can see how things do change. We'll get some pictures uploaded of the internals of this new projector. You guys can have fun and make some comparisons and some suggestions. But it's a cool unit. If you guys have any questions, let us know. It's info@lightwerkz.net. Check out our channel, subscribe, and if you have a question, you can also ask on here. Thanks again.